Hello and welcome to another cast game of Age of Empires 3D. This game has been uploaded to the Sunbros Discord. I actually can't remember which of the players uploaded it, but I'll put that in the description. Thank you for providing the record. And this game is going to be a very interesting game for me because we have got Ethiopia up here in the north of the map in blue versus Haude down here at the bottom map in red. And I have to say, Ethiopia are the civ that I've been learning recently, and Haude I'm thinking might be the next civ I learn, or I try to, so I'm very interested to see what we can find out about these civs in this game. Haude opening up with a treasure. What did they get? They got something, they got some 40 coin, and now they've got 45 XP. Up at the top, Ethiopia picking up, not picking up, yeah, you have to go back and pick it up. It's always a bit confusing, that mosaic treasure, because it doesn't, like, it kind of looks like it's been picked up when it hasn't, if that makes sense, because it's just a pile of rocks. Neither side opening with a TP, neither side doing anything with water. Haude just put their starting travois straight down into a longhouse, very conservatively in base. No scouting with that. Bit of a shame maybe, because the water is quite tasty on this map. I can never remember the name of this map. Is it the Caucasus? Yes. You've got 3 trade posts, one in each player's base, and then this one in the middle where there's this narrow area which is just full of choke points. But I always find when I play this map that actually no fights ever happen in the middle. You always end up fighting in someone's base, and I guess it's because I think it's quite a big map, like in terms of the distance from one end to the other. It's quite a long way to the opponent's base. Anyway, interesting. We've got advanced agriculture coming in for Ethiopia. Now, I would say that I'm not convinced that's a great card to be sending as your very first card. It's just not really a tempo card. The big thing it gives you are fields are free, and you can build fields and granaries more quickly. Obviously, as Ethiopia, you kind of want to be staying on hunts for a while, because fields are, although they're very cheap, in fact they're free now, are not great in terms of the gather rate. And advanced agriculture doesn't improve the gather rate at all. There are some techs at the granary that improve the gather rate a bit, but it's improving it from quite a poor, like, starting value. So even with those techs, it's not great. Lots of age 1 wood getting chopped here for Ethiopia as well. Are they thinking about a dock? There's a rescued doggo lurking down here for Haude. Kind of interesting, maybe keeping an eye out for the dock. So yeah, Haude have done a pretty standard age 1, 15 villagers, including a 3 villager achievement. Foresty boys, I love to see it. And yeah, just gathering the food, going straight up. Now we're putting down a tribal marketplace so we can start gathering some gold from this mine. Everything pretty much as you would expect. Flip over to Ethiopia still, gathering more and more wood. Putting some villas onto the fields. Building more fields as required. We've got a house down for population. Haven't got a granary, which would help the fields. So that's a little bit of a missed opportunity, especially since they build faster thanks to advanced agriculture. Yeah, they build faster. Still chopping more wood. Could of course sell the cattle for wood. I'm imagining they might be saving the cattle to give them the food injection they need to get to age 2 maybe. But yeah, an awful lot of wood getting chopped here. Almost enough for a TC, but as far as I'm aware, can't build an extra TC until age 3. So I'll have to wait and see. I'm kind of morbidly curious now. What are Ethiopia doing with all this wood? Is it going to be towers? Is it going to be like houses? House walling? Walls? House walling? Market? Loads of market techs? We've got some villagers going over to food here. Okay, so something's happening. We've got 15 villagers trained, so it's a good time to be aging up. Got 8, 9 of them on food now in total. Going to be 11 in a second. So we're going to start to make progress to age 2, but obviously this is very late. If Haudenosaunee were thinking about a rush, then they could absolutely have their war hut set up, they could have tomahawks out, they could have the 4 Kenya shipment out. And be really causing problems for Ethiopia, and Ethiopia would not... I think that it's kind of... It's always weird when you see someone doing a long age 1, because you're aware how vulnerable they are. The opponent probably isn't aware how... this Haudenosaunee player probably isn't aware how vulnerable Ethiopia are right now, because they not only are still in age 1, but they haven't got the food yet. We're getting the Royal Hunters tech from the market. I'm guessing that is one of the quite high up ones that improves hunt gather rates, although those hunt gather rates don't look that special. Sorry, I don't know exactly what Royal Huntsman does. Please write in the comments. I absolutely love learning more about this game. I always think I know it all. I watch the other YouTubers, they make a mistake or they don't know something, I think, idiots. But you know, you get up here on the microphone and suddenly you realise you don't know it all. No one does. So Ethiopia is still in age 1. Only so many times I can say that. Let's find out what Haudenosaunee are up to. They've overpopped with their AN shipment. That's quite nice. Got 5 Tomahawk out on the map. Got the AN. Don't know where they are. Where are the AN popping? Oh, from this middle war hut. Really nice middle war hut. 7 AN, not 6. Apologies for that. It's 6 Tomahawks. That's a good shipment. The deck name is Foresty Boys, so we're sort of expecting to see Fortress and see some Foresty Boys coming out, which will be great because they're really strong. A couple of houses have gone down now, so the population issue is dealt with for the time being. Meanwhile, we've mostly just gathering food, a little bit of wood. That could be for tomahawks or maybe some more buildings, although we've kind of got all the buildings you want at this stage. We've got the cavalry corral, we've got the war hut in the middle. I'm going to get some market text, that's pretty nice. I was expecting 700 gold, but I've noticed that there is no 700 gold, so it's going to be quite a while before SpoonyDeer can think about going up to Fortress. Absolutely love this stealth doggo. Look, he's got 103 HP now. Dog's shadow tech, don't you know? Training up more infantry now. We got, so all the resources going into this infantry. There's absolutely no chance of an age up going on here. Still, 18 villagers quite low. Has not been training villagers for most of age 2, I think. Ethiopia have slightly more villagers. They've got 21. Still in age 1. You know, so we haven't missed anything. Think about this as well. All that time in age 1, 2 cards stacked. So that's like, that's the benefit of 2 cards that could have been age 2 cards if they'd aged up, that they haven't received yet, or of 2 more age 1 cards if they sort of, you know, now it's 3, if they'd built a deck that was suited to a long age 1. So a real missed opportunity in terms of that, but we do see the age 2 coming in now, going with the Jesuits. That, of course, gives you the church wagon and XP crates. See, I know something. Got some Kenya horsemen coming forward now. Haudenosaunee got a pretty sizable force here. I mean, probably might struggle to take a TC. We have got a couple of towers up for Ethiopia, so on the defensive. Those must have been built using wood in age 1. You know, so much wood being gathered, and some of it's gone on those towers. Tower's probably enough to scare away these Kanya horses. Haudenosaunee might be noting with some interest that there is no signs of the hunts being taken here. All the villagers coming together, forming a trade union to fight off these Kanye in the fields rather than going to the town centre. Ah! The real armies showed up. And they're going straight in on the TC. I think this is enough. Certainly no villagers garrisoning in the TC. Churchwagon comes out for Ethiopia. That's of absolutely no use in this situation. Mountain Monastery Builder getting... actually quite sensible to try and tank some damage with the Mountain Monastery Builder at this stage. Now the church being targeted, I guess it's good to target something. Opportunity to repair the town centre a little bit, maybe. Ethiopia still has lots of their villagers... No, have 5 of their villagers out, not really lots. 15 garrisoned in the TC, that means the TC is firing at maximum power. Got the opportunity to take down these towers. Now, Ethiopia shipping in the Palace Wagon and 300 influence. If they get this palace down, then that could be really nice. Respawning the church wagon with some of their spare influence. Bit of a weird flex, but okay. Here's the palace builder. It's safely smuggled away. Certainly not chased by the Haudenosaunee. I'm sure they must have seen it at least for a split second because they've got full line of sight on the town centre due to the fact it's attacking them. So that palace is going to go down. This could be enough to repel, and one desert archer comes out of the tower. You love to see it. Okay, so the tomahawks trying to go in on the palace here. Just a little tip for Spoony. They could have marched the tomahawks a bit closer and they wouldn't have had to spend time spreading out around the palace, and that extra bit of time getting going on this siege might have been the difference between getting that palace down and not before it was fully built. But it does go down. The Haudenosaunee force is much reduced. We've got 5 Aena coming in as backup. We've got 10 Tomahawks in queue as well, and the shipment of 4 Canny Horsemen. So there's going to be plenty more stuff to sustain this attack. On the Ethiopian side, we've got another sad outlaw from the tower. This time it's a Desert Raider instead of a Desert Archer, which is probably not optimal. The Raz is going to respawn in a second too. 6 Gascania being shipped. The Gascania will do okay here. They'll achieve something. The Haudenosaunee force is kind of losing that critical mass where it's actually quite difficult for them to siege these buildings. Haven't really got enough siege power to take them down in a good time, and so they're standing around for longer and longer, taking more damage. Another palace going down. Organically built palace for Ethiopia. How often do you see that? Ethiopia have managed in the back here, thanks to their 5 pocket villages, and not really spending anything on defences apart from shipments and the influence for those palaces and other buildings to potentially look at aging up. They will need to ship in 700 gold and collect it, and they have shipped in the 700 gold, but they have not been able to collect it. The Raz sitting at the back of the base, but there's an increasing number of Haudenosaunee forces here, and I don't think they're being scared away. These villagers out in the fields are now gathering coin, interestingly. Look at that rate, 0.38. Such a poor rate. You really don't get good value from these African fields. Loads and loads of crates on the floor for Ethiopia. Trying to get some villagers in to gather them up. Down to 15 villagers total. Haudenosaunee still on 18 villagers. Definitely would have benefited from training a few more earlier on in Age 2. Probably doesn't matter too much at this point. Haudenosaunee units still standing around under these buildings, getting some villager kills. Ethiopia being whittled down to 6 villagers. They've only got their villagers Mountain Monastery. They've got these pocket villages hidden off here to the side would be really good for Haude Vs if they manage to find them, but they have not scouted over this area at all, so they won't even see that the hunt is being taken. But Haude Vs going in on the town centre. Ooh, double shot there from the palace. Nice little area attack from the palace. It's kind of like an aggro fort, right? Level of attack, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, not something you can leave your units standing around on. And these towers, you know, it's all sort of adding up with the units being stuck here for a longer period of time. Shipment of Shotel warriors coming in, they're going to sit on top of these Aena and take them out very, very easily. We now do have a few of these desert warriors. These are heavy infantry. How do they compare to the Tomahawks? They cost a lot more coin, and they've probably got roughly the same stats. Their ranged attack is faster, and probably overall a bit better. But yeah, kind of an expensive Tomahawk or Musketeer. They've got less HP. Haude Vs is still throwing more units into this. Kind of, I think now would definitely be the time to pull back and age up. I imagine they've pretty much run out of useful age 2 shipments. Yeah, certainly run out of aggressive age 2 shipments. They've done enough damage to Ethiopia economically. They've killed lots of villagers. And Ethiopia's tied up all these resources in these towers and palaces. It would be really good if Haude Vs could produce some siege. I know they don't have the cannons until age 4, but they could have the mantlets or the rams so that they can efficiently take down these buildings, because even the heavy infantry against buildings, okay if you've got like the critical mass, but just trickling in 5 units at a time is not very efficient. Another palace going down for Ethiopia, so Ethiopia really committing to this turtle. They have 12 villages, but they are training more back, so they're going to... Well, they might eventually overtake Haude Vs, who now have 23. A few of them idle. Yeah, a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a pause here. Maybe this is the time Haude Vs tries to change tack and go for the age up. Hunting out here on the right hand side of their kind of half of the Caucasus. Still got a full hunt here, another full hunt hidden away here in the corner. I wonder if they've spotted that. No. Need to check out right into the corners, especially on those like awkward maps with these nasty angles. You can often get hunts like wandering right out into the corners. I also know that the doggo is gone. Don't know where, don't know why, but RIP doggo. Probably got caught up in a move all military units command somewhere. Let's check back in on Ethiopia. So 16 villagers, still training new villagers, very nice. Most of them on coin just at the moment. Oh, that's because we've got all these fields on coin. So I wonder if the kind of the headology of the Ethiopia player is mines are for mountain monasteries, and to get coin I need fields. That would explain the kind of this early commitment to the field play. Still stacking absolutely tons of wood. Doesn't need the houses. Has not built a war camp, I don't believe. Nope. So just relying on their watchtowers to train the outlaws, which they can do. They've got all those houses and they've got plenty of gold. And the forts, the palaces to train their palace units, allied units. That's the word. We've got crop rotation coming in from the advanced granary. That is going to improve either the food or the gold gather rate. Let's hope it's the gold, given the situation here. I think the first tier of granary upgrades are 300 wood and the second tier are 800 wood. But look at that, it increases the gather rate from 0.45 to 0.49, so that's a 10% increase. But it's still like, that's still a very depressing number to look over to your villagers and see. We've also got the Christian schools coming in. This is one of the Jesuit Alliance texts that you get at the Mountain Monastery, and that gives you faster training villages. So that's useful in Age 2, obviously. You can get more villagers out more quickly than your opponent in a long Age 2 scenario, which we do seem to be in here. Ah, what a jinx! Haudenosaunee up to Fortress Age, just in time for their first tribal market to give up on that silver mine. They've got their age up Travois there. They've aged up with, it looks like 4 mantlets. I don't think there's any other way they can get those that quickly. That Travois is going down into a second warhead in the middle. It'd be really good to see a siege workshop here as well. They could get some more mantlets or they could get some rams. I think rams are absolutely justifiable given this level of building to overcome. Have put down a native trade post. That's really interesting to see. We've got this Claff of Repeaters tech. Now I can't tell you what that... Oh, maybe if I... Yeah, there we go. See? Your skirmisher units, especially Royal Huntsmen, don't have any Royal Huntsmen, inflict slightly more damage against other skirmishers. So this is quite a specific tech to go for, but it is helpful as we see some levied gunners coming out for Ethiopia. So these are levied units, so they do lose hit points. They're going to receive some healing, as you can see from that animation, due to being under the mountain monastery or inside the mountain monastery range. So they're going to lose their hit points a little more slowly. That's actually an interesting kind of subtlety. Look how slowly they're losing hit points. But yeah, fundamentally, not the right time to spawn these units. You want to spawn them when you're actually staring down the barrel of a threat, because the longer they stand around here, the weaker they're going to get. So a little bit of a misplay from Ethiopia, but they are on their way up to Fortress as well. So we're going to have equal ages. We go into the next skirmish, potentially. And it's Forest Prowlers plus Mantlets. Now, I know SpoonyDeer is keen to go for the Foresty Boys, and they are great units, but it's a bit of an awkward situation because Mantlets, I guess Mantlets aren't really anti-infantry. Good against buildings, weak to mission, anti-infantry units. So they tagged as infantry. They are. Interesting. I always thought of Mantlets as sort of like Falconets, i.e. good against infantry, but they do actually have a specific anti-infantry multiplier, so I guess they're not. Yeah, fine. Alright, so you've got your Forest Prowlers to counter infantry, you've got your Mantlets as basic siege, but there is a question. As the hot air balloon revives the Haudenosaunee war chief, who's going to go down fighting again, just giving away 100 XP there, unfortunately. Didn't really achieve anything. But, you know, I like the idea of it. And that hot air balloon is going to run out very soon, but it has given Haudenosaunee some good line of sight over the enemy base, and they can see pretty much the last time they were there, pretty much the same as the last time they were there. It's full of buildings, 2 palaces, and a load of watchtowers. So more than 4 mantlets probably needed in this situation. So actually, you get such good value in terms of HP. Like that's better than a hussar in terms of tanking. I mean, I guess that's the idea, right? And they've got range resist. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to learn some Haudenosaunee. Now the wall's going down for Ethiopia. They can put something. They've got some ranged units behind these walls, mainly the Desert Warriors, who are sort of musketeers. They've got a nice 12 range attack with no multipliers. They've got some of these levied gunners who are sort of musketeers as well, I guess. Conquistadors also got a little bit of range. So they can hold out behind these walls if they actually get built, because I don't see a villager going to build the walls, which is a little bit of a missed opportunity. 10 villagers in queue. Ethiopia really keen to establish a villager lead. Haudenosaunee still not training villagers. I mean, at this point, 25 minutes in, you could be looking at 50, 60 villagers, double the eco, and that really means double the units to field in your forces, and that would make, obviously, a huge difference in what I expect now is going to be quite a good fight for Haudenosaunee, because they have got the counters. It'd be interesting to see whether Ethiopia commits here or tries to lurk in and amongst the buildings and sort of fight this guerrilla style. The Forest Prowler's getting sucked in here and coming under the palace. Of course, ideally you want your mantlets to be taking the hits from the buildings. I guess it's kind of difficult to control that, but you could start to fool the Forest Prowlers back now that the enemy infantry is pretty much finished off. These Forest Prowlers, they are really good. Loads and loads of range, good attack, lovely multipliers, and they've got the 1.1 now thanks to that native trade post. Sieging the town centre now, which was not repaired from earlier, so will go down nice and easily. I wonder if that will demoralise Ethiopia. We've got a shipment of Gascania coming out at the back. That's their first stage 3 shipment, I believe. No. There was also a sort of eco-theory style card here, 15% on all gather rates. So Ethiopia really committed to this defensive turtle style, which is interesting because, you know, it's not something I typically associate with Ethiopia. Got the Klenuranai Guard. It's a nice little mercenary. And Taberna says, strange civilization this first time. Certainly some quite unusual play, so that sort of makes sense. But yeah, GG. Good work from Haudenosaunee there. Patient, I think, could probably have dipped out and gone up to age 3 a bit earlier. Definitely felt like towards the end of this initial age 2 push, the units were just getting thrown away against the numerous Ethiopian buildings. But could probably have done better on the consistent villager training, but apart from that, really well played. And GG's.